Good morning, child of grace. Doug White down here in Alabama. Thought I'd just get my coffee and see what happens this morning. I want to show up whether I got anything to say or not. Because I've said it all just about 900, almost 1,000 videos, and I've deleted a bunch of them. But really, it's just a diary of my life, you know. It seems like it, you know, just instead of a diary, I just put it up on this little phone. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is that other video I did with about 2,000 some odd years ago. I got the idea for that song when I was watching public television, and they were a bunch of supposedly, they were the religious leaders of our day, you know, as ones that are looked at as high up religious leaders, and they was on all these different denominations and different everything, you know. Well, anyway, they were discussing about Jesus, and they were talking about Jesus as if he was this historical figure, but he wasn't God. They talked about his death, but they didn't talk about his resurrection. They wanted to know when Jesus lived. When was his time? You know, was it? So they kind of agreed around about 2,000 years. And I thought to myself, well, you know, that isn't my first thing, you know, on the list to be debating. It would be whether he was God or not. Was he risen from the dead? And they acted like he was just a man that was dead. You know, all these supposedly legitimate religious leaders in our land, and so I wanted to scream at the television and just say, well, about 2,000 somebody, they had come around to agree around 2,000. I said, why don't you just say some odd and move on to the real important subject, which is he claimed, you know, is he God? Was Jesus God? And of course, people that listen to my video out there know that he is God. But you're not going to get any. What can you expect on public television? So that's how I come up with the name of that song. You know, just watching public television, and they have some good stuff on there. Believe it or not, that's the only thing that I like when they have these front line or something like that, where they go in and they show a person, a real person in their life, you know, and their situation. That's when they can't fake it, you know. Of course, they're going to give you bad information on everything, but if the eyes, you know, the eyes of the spirit can see through all the deception, and I like to see it when they show these people, you know, that have really had hard lives, and just you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, thought to get on here and talk and have a little coffee here. Make a little movie. Of course, they had Jesus is not risen from the dead. They didn't talk about his resurrection. They just talked about when he lived and died like he was a man on public television. Yeah, on the religious channel. Yeah, okay. That's what it was on. There, that was as far as they go with religion. Anyway, yeah. Sometime on my old videos, somebody want to look back at them. On some of them, you find most anything. I like to go into different Bible verses and stuff, and they have two categories. What it can't mean, what it can't mean. When you're reading a Bible verse, I like to say to find out. You might not know what it's talking about, and we see through a glass darkly. So anybody that says they know everything, you know, in the Bible, I'm kind of suspicious of. But anyway, you know what it can't mean, or it means something else. Those are my two categories when I don't understand something. What it can't mean, and or it means something else. So when I sometime I think I did a video a long time ago about the few and the many, and I don't like to tells people, well, this means that, absolutely. I got all the answers, but that's a very, very controversial a text where it says, enter in at the straight gate. Y'all can look it up on your little phone, like I tell you. Then it says, broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Enter in. Well, oh God, they use that to scare everybody half to death, But a few be it that find it. Find when I went to looking for a tool. Sometimes I lose my tools and I have to go looking for them. By the time I get through finding that tool, whatever it is, I done worked up a sweat. So when it says few be it that find it, I think to myself, I says, fine, well, that's a work. So this can't be talking about God's eternal, the new birth, or man's eternal destiny. So if he's seeking something, you have to seek it out. Dead men don't seek anything. Dead men don't enter in. So in my view, brothers and sisters, I mark this one on what it can't mean, what it can't be talking about. The few and the many can't be, it's talking about few be it that find it. I like to think about that as, the narrow way. That's the narrow way, the straight gate. Enter in there. Enter in. There's some that enter. No, dead men don't enter in anyway. They don't enter in the broad way, and they don't enter in either way, say. But entering in is something alive people do. God's people do. But it's sad to say, the greater majority of God's people enter in at the broad way. Straight as the gate. So, Lord and sisters, there's just a handful of people that gravitate toward the truth, because there's always something there that's gonna offend you. Say, when you start entering into anything that's true, there's something that's offend the world. The world will be offended with you, and the people in the world, they're not gonna like it. Take, for instance, if God was to reveal to you the shape of the earth, or that everybody's lying to you, that offends some people, brothers and sisters. But I'm just saying, not saying that this is what this is talking about, but enter in at the narrow gate. It's really close by, it's really close in when you get to the truth. People don't like the truth. The truth about God. Here's the big elephant in the room that a lot of people don't like. That the will of man. The narrow way, the will of man, is not the determining factor in men's destiny. They don't like that. That's the narrow way. All of God's people, there's plenty of God's people that will that enter in on the work side. They'll tell you all day they don't believe in works, but then they'll give you something to do. So I believe lots of God's people, they enter in at the broad way, which, brothers and sisters, leads to destruction. I said it before, I'll say it again. A very unceremonious departure from this world. And their joy, to say the least, is not full. I mean, we all got to die, but when I die, I want to have peace with God in my mind down here. And you're not going to have any peace if you've got a something to do gospel. So I'm not trying to tell you what that text means, the broad way and the narrow way, except for this one thing. It means something else. It means something else. What it can't be saying. It can't be saying that. There's something to do, because it's not of works, lest any man should boast. Entering in, that's something live people do. Say that's they if you enter in at the narrow gate, that's something a few people do. They seek, they seek it out. They seek the truth in this present evil world. Only a few people do that. And the greater majority of God's people that you'll see in heaven, I believe, entered in the broad way, the something to do gospel. The will of man trumps the will of God. These terrifying at the end of the world, that people think over in Revelation, it's talking about the book of Revelation. It's talking about. I haven't got anything with any. What was he talking about? Oh, the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast. See, we know, brothers and sisters. I believe that's a past event. That's something that happened in past. We know what it can't mean. Why? Because it says to receive a mark. That's a something to do. You got to get a mark in your forehead. That, brothers and sisters, I believe is a past event. If you read over there in Revelation, it said the time is at hand. All through the book, it leads up. It gives you all these timing things, which parallels over there. This generation shall not pass. There'll be some standing here shall not taste death. So, brothers and sisters. That's another place where you're getting it's what it can't mean. That's it. That falls under the hidden what it can't mean and it means something else. So, brothers and sisters, this something else I'm not about to tell you, but I'll tell you what I believe over there in Revelation where it says that you get the mark of the beast. I believe that's a past event, something that happened in past history that that God will tell us when we get up there what it was that happened. But anyway, just want to get on here, and I have a God in my thinking now that I'm in my twilight years of a gracious God, brother. So I like to, like I say, magnify the grace of God on my little channel. And if you're reading the text, there's a lot of Bible readers out there that they're reading the text, they don't know what it means. If you don't know what it means, put it up on the shelf and say, it means something else or what it can't mean. It can't mean, if you do say putting a mark on your hand or whatever it is, if it's a work, if it's a something to do, then it's not talking about your sonship, brothers and sisters. It's not talking about sonship. There's sonship verses in the Bible, and there's discipleship verses where, what. And the opposers out there like to bring you the discipleship verses and claim that they're sonship. But if you're a son or daughter of God, you've been born from above, and by 100% grace of God, you had no say in your natural birth. You have no say in the new birth, brothers and sisters. But I just want to get on here and see what come out after I have my first cup of coffee, and just pontificate and try to have a relaxed atmosphere when we're talking about when I'm talking to my phone here. My friends out there I've never seen before, all the way across the ocean. Wow. My mom would, I showed some of this before my dad died. I showed him some of this stuff, but didn't even have a channel when I showed it to my dad, and he said, wow. He was 94 or 95 when he died. But anyway, so the generation that I came up in, if they knew that you could do something like that, this is just a miracle. Miraculous. As opposed to magic that you hear. The favorite word of the posers now is magic, But I believe in using the word. God's people ought to use the word miraculous. That's what Jesus did, the miraculous. But anyway, just want to get on here and see and use up this first 15 minutes, talking to the people out there that tune in this little channel that I cover all kind of subjects. But in all, brothers and sisters, dead people don't enter in. They don't enter in the broad gate. They don't enter in the narrow gate. Only living people do. So that's talking about something else. Y'all figure it out for yourself. Or what it can't mean. Anyway, put in the comments what you think, and I'm going to try to get me a second cup of coffee here. Peace and love from Miss O'Moore down here in Alabama.